There was recently an episode on the Diary of a CEO podcast with Stephen Bartlett, and he was interviewing Mo Gawdat, and he was the ex-Google officer. And it was actually titled an emergency episode, and I want to share a little bit about it because if you have the time or are interested in AI, it's almost a 2-hour episode, and it was very informative and very insightful and very alarming as well. So basically, this emergency episode is about the ex-Google officer speaking out on the dangers of AI. And it was really mind-blowing, to be honest, because you have someone who played a part in creating AI now wanting to send a message to the world of we need to stop or at least slow down because this is about to have a monstrosity of catastrophic effects on humanity if we do not. But at the very end of the episode, there was one quote that I want you to listen to because this was the piece that really shook me. And what you're about to hear is a clip from this episode, the podcaster, Stephen Bartlett, and Mo Gawdat, the ex-Google officer, talking about the next imperative steps that we as society need to take. So let's take a listen.
Make it a priority.
Engage. Tell the whole world that making another phone that is making money for the corporate world is not what we need. Tell the whole world that creating an artificial intelligence that's going to make someone richer is not what we need. And if you are presented with one of those, don't use it. I don't know how to tell you that any other way. If you can afford to be the master of human connection instead of the master of AI, do it.
If you can afford to be the master of human connection, do it. That is really crazy to hear from someone who has spent his entire career working in technology, moving away from human connection, now saying that this is one of the most important things we can do is become masters of connection. So how can we become the masters of human connections? So I have a couple thoughts here. One of them is fighting for in-person connection by going first. And I mean going first because this might be a hard pill to swallow, but if we're lonely, that's our fault. And we need to take responsibility for that because we're the only ones that can get us out of being lonely as well by making a concerted effort to put ourselves literally out there in society, in the world, and not hold up in our houses and on our laptops and on our phones and on everything that takes us away from other real, live, breathing human beings. We have two innate desires as humans, and it's to be fully known and fully loved. Artificial intelligence can fully know you, but let me make this abundantly clear so that we never forget. It cannot fully love you. Ever. If we outsource it and find ourselves in a situation that makes us feel that way, that feeling isn't real. You can't be fully loved by something that can't get hurt. Think about that. AI can't be hurt. They don't have emotions and feelings. At least not yet. And I hope we don't get to that point. We can learn to ask meaningful questions and have deep, thought-provoking conversations. And I actually want to shout out one of our sponsors, which is Party Cues, because it's the #1 questions app. And I know that a lot of people are really fearful of interacting or talking to another person for the first time because, oh, I'm so awkward and what will I say? And this entire podcast is to help you in those instances and to help give you the confidence, courage, and resources and tools that you need. And, Party Cues is a perfect example of a tool that can help with that because it's a technology supplement you can use. But I mean, seriously, think about it. There's an intrinsic reward that we feel when we can support and help and walk alongside others. When someone says to you, hey, I need your advice on something, what immediately happens? You're like, oh, all right, I'm here, let's go. I can't wait to help with something. Because there's a reward there, because you got to be part of something meaningful for someone else. And AI can't do that for us. Certainly not in the same way. It can help, but there's no reward for it. And I just want us to keep this in focus. You are worth having incredible, meaningful, rich relationships. You're worth it. And if you're in a circumstance in your life where you moved to a new city, you're in a new phase in life, you started a new job, there's a ton of reasons we can come up with for, just not right now. I can't really extend myself or branch out like that right now. Well, the longer you wait, the worse it's going to get. Studies have proven this. Loneliness, depression, anxiety, suicide through the roof. At what point are we all going to collectively decide to take accountability and responsibility for going out and creating these connections with other people in our lives? It's not like I'm talking to you from some high place where I'm out of touch from reality. This was me. I was this person. In college, I had no friends. And so I made a New Year's resolution to eat a meal with a stranger every single day on my college campus, get to know them, get to know their story, and reverse this curse in my life of having no friends. And it taught me how to build rich relationships in the process. But I had to go through the pain of being awkward, fumbling over words, looking silly, looking dumb, probably, feeling extremely uncomfortable, to now knowing that there is so much more richness and vibrancy in my life because of the relationships that are a huge part of it, if not the most important part of it. So fighting for human connection by going first and having meaningful conversations, wanting to go beneath the surface level, one layer deeper. This could even be the challenge for you. What's a question I can ask to a friend today, even via text? If I don't have any time for anything else right now, what is one question I can ask to a friend to go one layer deeper? And you can use the Party Cues app to help you with those questions if you need. But again, technology should never replace. It should always and only be a supplement. And you can take it from me, right? And you might be like, cool, we get it. Let's move on with it. Well, I asked ChatGPT to actually discuss this topic, and I wanted to hear its insight. And for those that may not know, ChatGPT is one of the biggest pieces of AI that is used right now. And so what I prompted ChatGPT with was, how can AI help my relationships? Now it gave me this huge essay with 6 ways in which AI could help my relationships. And some of them were eye-rolling, quite honestly. But I'm going to read you verbatim the bottom paragraph of what ChatGPT said to me in response to this prompt. Again, the prompt was, how can AI help my relationships? This is what it said. However, it's important to note that AI should complement aka supplement, rather than replace human interaction and emotional connection. Ultimately, the success of a relationship depends on genuine human connection, empathy, and understanding. AI can provide helpful tools and insights, but it's essential to prioritize open communication, active listening, and nurturing your relationships through direct human interaction. Dang. You have just heard it from AI's mouth directly. AI should not replace human relationships. And we can't let it replace them as well. We can use it as a tool to supplement our relationships, but we need to be very careful to not let it be the end-all, be-all. So, that being said, we have a choice to make. Are we going to prioritize the people in front of us in our lives? Are we going to make building rich relationships a priority in our life? The choice is yours and mine. The choice is ours. And for me, I'm committed to continuing to build rich relationships. And I hope you're down for this mission too, because this is what this podcast is all about. And you're worth it. Let's build.